recipient of the President's insignia of honor conferred upon me by Mwana wa Mtonga Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, 7th President of the Republic of Zambia, on 24th October 2021. As we are celebrating Africa Freedom Day today, I would like to observe that Dr. Kaunda, the first president, the president, was very much interested in us persons with disabilities, especially the blind, in our affairs. He enabled us to blind persons to participate in politics and public affairs, as would have been demonstrated in 1988 when the late Lazarus Tembo, blind, and the late Koloweka entered parliament. This was a stupendous accomplishment. In terms of employment, persons with abilities, including especially the blind, were all over. Blind telephone operators, about 90% of telephone operators during KK era were blind. Teachers in public service everywhere were given freedom to work, and this has to be recognized on Freedom Day. Rehabilitation, everywhere in Zambia there were rehabilitation centers, which of course were established before independence, but Dr. Kaunda and his government continued funding them. And indeed, we had in 1978, we built National Vocational Rehabilitation Center, which was inaugurated by Dr. Kaunda himself in 1985, the first of its kind in Southern Africa. Blind persons were also afforded the opportunity and freedom to education, from primary to tertiary education. What is going to surprise, what is going to make you people happy is that when the University of Zambia was opened in, I think it was 1965, 1966, one of the persons who went there, the first blind person to enroll at the University of Zambia, the late Obed Mwaba. It was very, very good indeed. Or you may wish to know that I myself was the first blind man to enroll at Munali Secondary School. And when I went to Munali Secondary School, after leaving the office of the late Leg was the headmaster of Munali. I was guided by Kenneth Maduma. And as I was walking from Leg's office, Mr. Leg's office, to Young House at Munali 1969 January, they shouted, Munali Aola, Munali Aola, Munali Aola, meaning that Munali was rotten because a blind person had been there. So that was achievement during the time of Dr. Kaunda. Blind persons administering our own institutions, blind and of course other disability categories were called handicapped then, during the time of KK. Our own institutions, Zambia Agency for the defunct Zambia Council for the Handicapped. It started as the Northern Rhodesian Society for the Blind before independence. Then it became Zambia Council for the Blind. Then it became, in 1968, it became Zambia Council for the Handicapped. We ourselves, persons with disabilities, the legless, the handless, the blind, the impotent, running our own affairs. Dr. Kaunda was a great man. In his book, The Philosophy of Humanism, he said, and I quote, "Please accept me as I am." That was Kaunda, Philosophy of Humanism, Part 2. Please accept me as I am. Dr. Kaunda accepted us, persons with disabilities, as we were. In fact, we even used to go to his house, for lack of a better word, State House. To State House every year, could invite persons with abilities, interact with them, during independence, interact with them during his birthday. He was even visiting schools for freedom. These are for persons with abilities. These are the great things. And in conclusion, I am happy that Hakainde Hichilema, mwana wa Mtonga, 7th President of the Republic of Zambia, is continuing with this. That's why he conferred upon me. What Bemba people, especially women say, insignia of honor. Ati va HH vasuma, valipera va Ngwale, the insignia of honor. That was great achievement. Although there are a lot of forces trying to confuse him about the welfare of persons with abilities, but that's a different story. Today, let's continue by HH. Please continue. Follow the footprints of President KK. We will be very happy indeed. I end up as a recipient of the presidency insignia of honor conferred upon me by Mwana wa Mtonga, 7th President of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. In passing, understandably that all the Tongas now have resolved to prefix their names by HAHA. So our dear president will be Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. President, please live long. Continue working very closely with God Almighty, just as Dr. Kaunda did when he worked with God Almighty in the fulfillment of the covenant made in Isaiah 42 verse 16 between us blind people and God. And God said, and I quote, "And I'll bring the blind by a way they know not. I'll lead them in paths they have not known. I'll make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things shall I do unto them." Continue following that path